All right, here we go. You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and we're going to have some fun on today's show. Is there any chance that with the retirement of Bruce Arians that a Tom Brady trade to San Francisco can still happen? Also, a former NFL scout wrote an article saying that Trey Lance looks bad on game film. I'm going to debunk that. But we start off with Tom Brady. Bruce Arians retiring. Todd Bowles, the former defensive coordinator for the Buccaneers, is going to take over as head coach. And the timing of this is really weird considering where we are in the NFL offseason and week 3 of NFL free agency with the NFL draft just a couple of weeks away. And a couple of people have hit me with this question. Chase, can Tom Brady still get traded to his childhood team in the San Francisco 49ers after Bruce Arians retired? Now, for all of you saying that this will never happen, this is crazy, there's no way that this could ring true, we have witnessed this offseason, the craziest offseason in the history of the National Football League, with so much quarterback movement. And a lot of the moves that have transpired, we would have said back several weeks ago, there is absolutely no chance that any of these moves could have rung true, but they have. Aaron Rodgers going back to the Packers, signing a historic contract extension. Russell Wilson gets traded by the Seattle Seahawks to the Denver Broncos. Tom Brady comes out of retirement just a couple of weeks after he had announced his original retirement. Carson Wentz got traded from the Colts to the Washington Commanders. Trubisky goes to Pittsburgh. Deshaun Watson gets cleared of his legal situation, and he gets traded to the Cleveland Browns. Then they give him record-setting money in terms of guaranteed dollars. Baker Mayfield is still technically on the Browns roster. Matt Ryan got dealt to the Indianapolis Colts. Jameis Winston back to the New Orleans Saints. And yes, Jimmy Garoppolo, at one point it looked inevitable that he was going to get traded. But now he might be Trey Lance's backup in 2022 because the shoulder injury and the shoulder surgery impacted his trade value. As far as what Tom Brady had to say about Bruce Arians retiring and going to the front office, there's a lot of speculation out there that Tom Brady and Bruce Arians didn't get along. Bruce Arians just finished his press conference announcing his official retirement and said that my relationship with Tom Brady is great, and that's not the reason why I'm stepping away. I'm just done with being an NFL head coach. Yeah, you can see that, Bruce Arians, or you can say that, but I happen to disagree just a tad, and I'll expand on that here in just a few moments. But Brady on Instagram, thank you, Bruce Arians, for all that you have done for me and our team. You are an incredible man and coach, and it was a privilege to play for you. You are a true NFL legend and pioneer for all the work you have done to make the league more diverse and more inclusive. That latter part, facts. Smart, tough, and loyal are few of the words to describe your style. I will always remember the conversations we had when you recruited me 2 years ago and all of the things that we discussed that came true. We all benefited from your leadership and guidance, and I'm so proud of everything we accomplished. You are a huge part of the decision to join the Buccaneers, and I'm forever grateful. Lastly, I'm so happy you will spend the much-deserved time with your loving and supportive family that has given so much to our communities. Congratulations on an amazing coaching career, but more importantly, how you positively impacted me and everyone else in the game of football. As for my read on Bruce Arians really pulling off a surprise retirement announcement, I think to a certain degree Tom Brady wanted Bruce Arians gone. There were a lot of reports out there about him and Bruce Arians not really getting along well, even during the Super Bowl year. Tom Brady had to kind of step in and say, I think we should be doing this offensively, and Tom Brady is the GOAT. Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowl championships. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. So the last 2 years to hear Bruce Arians in post-game press conferences to the national media say and kind of rip Tom Brady at certain moments was a little bit confusing to me. So I think Tom Brady, he was okay with Bruce Arians being the head coach, but he kind of wanted him out. And I think the timing of this is really weird considering, again, where we are in NFL free agency. Bruce Arians was just at the NFL scouting combine saying, we want 5 first-round picks for Tom Brady, and we want him back. And now you call it quits this late in the offseason? A little bit weird for me. Now, I do want to ask you this question before we really dive into Tom Brady getting dealt to San Francisco. Is he staying in Tampa? Where he goes somewhere else? There was a rumor last week he'd get dealt to the Miami Dolphins. Predict it for me where Tom Brady will play in 2022 and give me a destination in the comment section right now. With Tom Brady, nothing is impossible. Him becoming the greatest quarterback of all time seemed impossible. It wasn't. He went on to win 7 Super Bowl championships. He's going after another as a former 6th-round pick. He retired. He comes out of retirement. And him coming out of retirement, that wasn't impossible either. And on Friday, there were reports about him maybe working out a trade to get sent to the Miami Dolphins because Stephen Ross, the owner, is a Michigan guy. Tom Brady went to Michigan, and he'd like to team up with Tyreek Hill, as well as Jalen Waddle, and Mike Gesicki, and Raheem Mostert, and Mike McDaniel. So nothing with Tom Brady is impossible, and nothing that's transpired throughout this NFL offseason is impossible. And back several months ago, there was this report from NBC Sports Bay Area tying Tom Brady to the Niners because he actually wanted to go to his childhood team before he latched on with Tampa Bay a couple of years ago. This coming from NBC Sports Bay Area. Shortly after the Niners Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs, Brady called Wes Welker's former teammate, former wide receivers coach for the Niners, now with the Dolphins. According to a new book about the Patriots dynasty, It's Better to Be Feared by ESPN reporter Seth Wickersham. Brady informed Wes Welker that San Francisco was the place that he was interested in. And if the 49ers were interested, he would finish his career in the Bay Area after 20 seasons and 6 Super Bowl titles with the New England Patriots. According to the book, Brady wrote down 20 or so elements he desired from his new team. His contract demand, considered pretty reasonable. 2 years, $50 million. Brady informed Welker that if the 49ers wanted him, there would be no free agency tour, no bidding war, full stop. He would end his career where his love of football began, in scarlet and gold, allowing his parents to drive to his games for the first time since the 1990s. And Tom Brady's parents still live in Northern California. Him teaming up with Kyle Shanahan, I think, would make the 49ers an immediate Super Bowl contender. He grew up idolizing this team. He was at Candlestick for the catch. Joe Montana was his favorite quarterback, and there have been so many reports over the years tying Tom Brady and his interest in the Niners, but has that interest been mutual? And could the 49ers look at Trey Lance right now and say, you know what, he's not ready to play, let's find a way to offload Garoppolo, we might be able to cut him, maybe we trade Garoppolo to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for Tom Brady, bring the guy home, give him his 7th Super Bowl championship, and for him to do it in the scarlet and gold, what a story and what a way to call it a career by going back to your hometown where he grew up, the team he grew up idolizing, Joe Montana, the quarterback that he grew up loving, and wrap up his career with his 7th and final Super Bowl championship with the Niners. You can't say never because this NFL offseason has proven that you can't ever say never. Who is your starting quarterback for 2022 for San Francisco? Is it Trey Lance? Is it Jimmy Garoppolo? Do you want to do whatever it takes to land Tom Brady? You let me know if you have one choice who you're going with as the starting quarterback for the Niners. Also, the 49ers Report, now on Rumble, a new sponsor here at Chat Sports and on the 49ers Report. And over on the Rumble side of things, we've already put out exclusive content that can't be found on YouTube and can be found on Rumble. Sometimes we go live on Rumble only. That's why you have to subscribe by hitting the green subscribe button at Rumble by going to rumble.com/49erstv. When you go there, you'll see a lot more free and uncensored content, sports, news, politics, tech, business, pop culture. We continue to grow to the platforms that you as the viewers use. So give us a follow and subscribe. It's rumble.com/49erstv. Next up, a former NFL scout put together an article saying that Trey Lance looked terrible on game film. I want to debunk that because I happen to disagree with what Daniel Kelly had to say about Trey Lance. First, let's start with what Daniel Kelly, a former NFL scout, had to say about Trey Lance. Trey Lance did 3 things consistently well as the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. He ran the ball well, he handed it off, and he completed short passes. That's it. This is what game film revealed against Seattle, against Arizona, and against Houston during the 2021 regular season. These are the 3 games Lance saw the bulk of his playing time. Now, here on the 49ers Report, you know me well. I love having open-minded conversations. I love having open dialogue and open discourse. So Daniel Kelly can have his opinion. I can also have my opinion. Daniel Kelly has a track record of being historically wrong when it comes back to quarterback evaluations. Throughout his career, he has written articles saying that Tim Tebow would be a Hall of Fame quarterback, that in Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence was the problem and not Urban Meyer. He thinks Micah Parsons is a bad football player when this past year he had one of the best rookie seasons of any defender that we've seen in recent NFL history. He said that he would run a two-quarterback system with Tim Tebow and Colin Kaepernick, and it would take the league over by storm. He also said that Jayden Daniels is a better quarterback and dramatically better than Trey Lance. So the track record for Daniel Kelly as an NFL scout and a quarterback evaluator is a little bit sketchy, and it's a little bit fraudulent. As for what Trey Lance did in 2021, he can certainly be better. He can certainly be more refined. There are deficiencies in his game that he can certainly work on. Stats in 2 starts and a couple of other games, 41 of 71, 603 yards, 5 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, and 168 rushing yards. Trey Lance was good in moments. He was also bad in other moments. Now, when I go to my read of Trey Lance as compared to Daniel Kelly, this is what I see in Trey Lance as compared to Daniel Kelly saying that he looks bad on game film. Trey Lance is certainly raw, but we knew that when he was coming out of North Dakota State. When he was drafted last April, he was 20 years old. He played 1 game in 2020 because of a COVID-shortened season and played only 1 full season in college at the FCS level. But there's no question that Trey Lance has elite traits like elite-level arm strength up there with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. You watch him rip the football, he can really spin it. When I watched him throughout each start and in the games that he played, I thought that he took steps forward and made progress in each game, which is what you want to see from an inexperienced quarterback. I actually really like the pocket awareness and pocket mobility that Trey Lance was able to possess and grow upon. When the pocket collapsed around him, he was able to maneuver within the pocket, step up in the pocket, and still keep his eyes downfield, looking to complete passes downfield before he took off and ran. And when he ran, he displayed very nice athleticism that makes him a very good dual-threat quarterback in the National Football League. And Trey Lance, at the end of the day, is a great athlete with elite-level traits and has untapped potential, especially in Kyle Shanahan's offense. And when you play in an offense, when you're protected on your blind side by Trent Williams, and you have one of the best tight ends in the NFL in George Kittle, the most valuable player in the NFC outside of quarterbacks in Deebo Samuel as your wide back, and an emerging very good player in Brandon Ayuk with Kyle Shanahan in your headset, that all lends itself to Trey Lance with reps, with being able to refine his mechanics and work on his flaws and deficiencies, having a very good sophomore season. And I thought Trey Lance on the game film showed progress in each of his starts and in each of his outings throughout his rookie campaign. The fact that he's raw shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. We knew this when he was coming out of North Dakota State. So to jump the gun and say that he looked bad on game film, I happen to disagree. But it's all good if we disagree, because each of us are entitled to our own opinions. But when you call yourself a former NFL scout and your track record is as spotty as Danny Kelly's, that's why I think you got to side with your boy. Now, I'm going to ask you one more question before we hop on out of here. What is your read on Trey Lance? Type B for bust, type S for you think he can be a star. Chime in, sound off, get that comment section popping. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks so much for making today's show a part of your day.